What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5 Minute Rants. I'm your host, Michael Abernathy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Well, for today's show, I want to talk about how no one just jumps off a cliff. And so for the title, I came up with it because I had a lot of people in my life come up to me and they would tell me like, man, this just happened out of nowhere. Like this major cataclysmic thing or this, and some of this is personal and I don't want to share too many details about it, but they would talk about how this huge, horrible event just happened and it came out of nowhere. It took them, it like sideswiped them and they didn't know what was going on. And when we would talk about this stuff, it really came out like, hey, nobody just jumps off a cliff, right? If you try to start a business and then all of a sudden you're failing, the failure just didn't happen. There's a whole journey and a whole process that took place to bring you to this point of failure, okay? So and let me put it this way with an analogy. If you're going to jump off a cliff, you actually have to climb the mountain at some point. You can shortcut it and take a helicopter, which is very few and far between, or you're going to climb up it one step at a time and keep going. And what happens is a lot of events happen to where it's like suddenly I'm in a very bad spot, or suddenly this really happened. Like my buddy, one of my really good friends, he's been doing awesome, but all of a sudden he was like, crap, dude, I'm in a ton of debt. And I don't even know how I got here. And there's that cliff moment. He didn't just jump off the cliff and go into a ton of debt. He climbed up the whole journey, the whole mountain, throughout the whole journey. He spent every dollar that put him into debt, right? And so it just didn't happen. And he's doing awesome. So we had a great conversation. He's been doing the Dave Ramsey program, and he has been crushing it with what he's doing. And he's along the way too. He's learned so much about money and finances, and it's been awesome. But the point of that story is he didn't just jump all the way down into a big pile of debt. That's not what happened. There's a whole journey that led up to it. And that's how it is in business. That's how it is in relationships. Relationships don't just suddenly die over time, right? There's a whole journey behind that, driving towards that failure or towards that break. It's the same thing in a house. It's the same thing with kids. Like kids all of a sudden don't just go crazy and nuts or have a bad streak. There's a whole process and a whole journey driving that beforehand, driving what is going on in their lives. And the reason why we miss the journey is because we don't look at where we're going. So if you've listened to the episode of You Get What You Want, you're not looking at that. Where am I actually headed to? And then 2, we're not looking behind us either to learn from the failures. So we're not creating or building or living our life with intentionality and with a greater good for our destination. And then we're unwilling to be wrong to learn from our failures. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, holy crap, I'm on the edge of a cliff. Am I going to jump or am I not? And oftentimes people take the leap off the cliff because, if this is in a relationship at least, because it's too painful to acknowledge wrongs and go backwards. Other times people are like, no, I'm going to go back down the hill. So my buddy, when he got to the edge of the cliff with all the debt, he was like, no, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk back downhill. And it's going to be really painful because I'm going to look at everything I've done wrong and I'm going to have to face that. But it's also going to be one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And that has actually happened. It's one of the best things he's ever done in his life. I'm like listening to him talk and his self-esteem through the roof, the pride, the hard work that's all associated with it. It's worth it. And if you listened, to any of my other podcasts about the things you're really proud of in life are really the hard things, that is so true for him. And so anyways, I'm saying this because you guys need to look at your journey and you can identify any area of your life where things are, what things have happened, what things have not happened. You can identify all of them by looking where you're headed and then by looking around behind you. And then, believe it or not, you can prevent a ton of cliff jumping. You can just stop it and have it stopped in your life just with some determination and some willingness to be wrong and some humility. And so anyways, guys, I'm out of time. I've only got a few seconds left, so I will catch y'all later. Peace.